Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zakiyah Izza Avkarinah. I'm from 12 Science 2, number 36. Today I'm gonna tell you the story origin of Kalibangan. At that time, Blambangan was ruled by the ambitious Duke Kabomarjuat, who expanded his domain. It was a rambling against Majapahit. The task to address the problem in the eastern region was left to Princess Kencanawungu. The memorial delivered by the princess was not attended by the Duke Kabomarjuat. Majapahit Topers is confused over Kabomarjuat's suit. Sending troops to Blambangan at the time was impossible because Majapahit troops were in weak condition after putting out several insurrections. At the suggestion of the recreants, who are Dharmaputra Winesuka, a kind of royal advisor council, Kencanawungu held a sayembara. He is what the announcement. For the people of Majapahit, whoever of you success in defeating Kabomarjuat, the ruler of Blambangan will be crowned King of Majapahit, King of Blambangan, and will be made husband of Princess Kencanawungu. A strong young man named Jaka Umbaran performed following the sayembara. Armed with a non-golden mace with yellow iron, Jaka Umbaran success in killing Kabomarjuat. Nevertheless, as a result of fighting against Kabomarjuat, Jaka Umbaran's face was damaged and his leg limp. Jaka Umbaran was later crowned King of Blambangan as Deputy King of Majapahit, and he is known as Mina Jingga. One gift has been received by Jaka Umbaran, aka Mina Jingga. He charged the second prize with the to Kencanawungu, but because of Mina Jingga's face was damaged and his leg limp, Princess Majapahit was not willing to keep her promise. At the news, Mina Jingga was furious. His original gentle attitude and temperament changed to harsh and brutal. The presence of two noble girls from Bali, Wahita and Puyengan, who he married, was unable to restore his tenderness. He also stated that he had disengaged from Majapahit as Kabomarjuat. The merchant and Majapahit warriors who were visiting the subordinate areas were as close as they could be. The Blambangan army was built to match Majapahit's strength. The criminal pursued by Majapahit security force, he joined forces with Blambangan. Seeing this reality, Majapahit Kraton circles are again confused. They asking for help, and joining Sadeng and Keta forces is also impossible because according to news, Blambangan forces are also strong. Moreover, Majapahit kingdom is haunted by fears of betrayal of Sadeng and Keta kingdom. Although in Paselan the Great, a meeting of subordinate king with King Majapahit, Sadeng and Keta and voice confirmed his loyalty to Majapahit. The Dharmaputra Winesuka remind Kencanawungu how about the action of Sadeng and Keta 3 years after Prabu Jayanegara died. Not wanting longer thinking, Kencanawungu decided to use the same way when facing Kabomarjuat. The knights are being chased by sparing knights around Majapahit Palace to face Mina Jingga. Finally, the choice fell to Damarwulan, a young man who is Patiloh Gender, who is in daily duty of fine crafts. Behind his handsome face, he turned out to be a swordsman picker who had outstanding ingenuity. Not surprisingly, he became the mainstay of Patiloh Gender. Damarwulan carried out the queen daughter's order well. With your witness, this heavy task will surely be able to carry out, said Patiloh Gender, saying dab on Damarwulan's face when he found out he was assigned to behead Mina Jingga. Pati, I carry out the task even though Mina Jingga is not an indiscriminate opponent. He is Zakiyah Gustipati, said Damarwulan, who is still covered by doubt. My son, Damarwulan, the greatness of Mina Jingga lies in his yellow iron. Without it, he is nothing. Curse the weapon under cover and cooperate with the inside of the palace. Pati Lohgender explained Mina Jingga's weakness. Alright, Gustipati, if so, I'm leaving. Damarwulan said goodbye while closing both palm and slightly bowing as a token of respect of servant. Pati Lohgender is just nodding, but after that train immediately sent several special Kraton Majapahit soldiers to accompany Damarwulan in secret. The Pati ordered the soldiers to go undercover, avoiding the ambush of the Blambangan warriors. While on the trip, even though wearing shabby clothes, Damarwulan's facial cuteness attracted to many girls' attention. Let alone his polite attitude and behavior, the appearance of Damarwulan's face spread to Blambangan Palace, precisely to the ears of Mina Jingga wives. At one full night party, Damarwulan managed to meet the two wives of Mina Jingga. The softness of speech and the cuteness of Damarwulan captivate the heart of Mina Jingga wives. The opportunity was the further entrance Wahita and Puyengan. Damarwulan's success, he was free to go in and out of the palace to meet the two Balinese noble Mina Jingga wives. Until one occasion, Damarwulan was able to persuade Wahita and Puyengan to take a yellow iron, their husband's flagship heirloom. Royal heirloom nurse soldiers on duty entering the heirloom immediately report Mina Jingga was bound when he was hit by the missing weapon. The palace was besieged and the whole room was searched. Luckily, Damarwulan can mellow oneself by jumping over the palace fence. In safety, Damarwulan installed a Sarastra rope that had been tied a sheet of leaf containing a message. He stretched out the bow and was dart off a sanestra and stick right on palace post. Soldiers immediately approached and hand over the chain containing the message to the Mina Jingga. The blackened-faced Mina Jingga read it immediately. He ordered the soldier to prepare a horse to chase Damarwulan. King Blambangan, with his soldiers moving westward, combing the north coast, Mindoringes, Alas Purwo, to bed across the kingdom of Keta region, then toward Jabung, where Prabu Hayamuru once lectured in his care. When in Jabung, the Mina Jingga soldiers scout the like of Damarwulan horse movement. They increasingly eagerly support the horse on its tracks. In place, Damarwulan horse left a trail of horse feathers that may stamp on a tree. It will be known by Bulujaran village. Meanwhile, Damarwulan has reached an age of time. His horse he attached to a tree of Ragu. And this area is called the Randu Pangger. Randu means place returning. Not long ago, Mina Jingga was able to follow Damarwulan, who stood by several soldiers. The Mina Jingga company immediately attacked the company soldiers of Damarwulan. Though the soldiers who fought were not many, the battle was fought merrily. The times that had previously been one of Peregrine's battlefield have now returned to the battlefield of two armies. The clang of the sword was accompanied by shout, as well as the cry of pain-wounded soldiers adorned the Pan-Iron. The two armies are equally strong. One at a time fell into a tangle. Before long, fighting dropped, ran out altogether, all fell about him. Give up! Perhaps the king will please forgive you. You have nothing left. The army is exhausted. Is your weapon? Damarwulan said, laughing at Mina Jingga. What? Give up? Hush! It's abstentic for me to give up, young man, said Mina Jingga with red eyes. Then he took a sword off its sheath and jumping right before Damarwulan. The Damarwulan swung slightly backwards. Immediately, he plucked a sword from its warrant. As he didn't give Damarwulan a chance, Mina Jingga suddenly raised his sword. Jat, Jat! Shit, you snotty kid! Ha ha ha! Your movements are too slow. No need to jump avoiding your fall. Damarwulan thought hit his ears. Back Mina Jingga jumped and furiously swung his sword toward Damarwulan. Patih Loh Gender Foster's son fended off the attack by spreading his sword. The sword in the hand of Mina Jingga almost fell. He was a little nervous. The opportunity was used by Damarwulan to counterattack, and Damarwulan's sword flashed across Mina Jingga's head. Damarwulan and hoping while continuing to stroke the sword, Mina Jingga began to have difficulty following Damarwulan's movement and was pressed. A kick landed squarely on Mina Jingga's chest and making him fall into a tangle. The sword came loose. How is Mina Jingga? Not willing to give up yet? Mo Damarwulan. There is no answer, only the crackling of the Mina Jingga's teeth. Impies the twitchiness, Mina Jingga rose up and immediately jumped at Damarwulan, who had been ready to welcome his attack. Chiat! Mina Jingga shot toward Damarwulan. Again, Damarwulan just slightly shifted his leg to avoid while trying to hug Mina Jingga's leg. It worked! The Mina Jingga lost its balance, and suddenly a high-swelled Damarwulan scream followed a smashing hit the neck of the Mina Jingga. Suddenly, Mina Jingga's body collapsed on the edge of time. His blood was spraying profusely, making the river, whose water was clear, turn red. The smell of Mina Jingga's blood whirled around the river. Even the smell is not around the fighting ground alone, but spread all the river from upstairs to downstream. That's not all. It turned out the smell of not good wasn't visiting its missing toe. The remains of Mina Jingga's blood have been cleaned. In contrast, the previous round crumb with the bodies of war victims, the smell of banger can disappear immediately after cleaning. However, this time, the smell continued to persist if attacked to the river water. Then, by the local people, that time it was called Kali Banger, meaning an unpleasant sentence time, Anyir, aka Banger. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.